We'll get started. I'd like to say welcome to students, faculty, administrators, and family members. It's really nice to see some family members who I met during our open house event, so it's lovely to see people back for this event. I'm Dr. Chris Winston. I am the program director for UNE's Master of Science in Occupational Therapy program, and I'm very honored to celebrate with all of you tonight as we induct 12 new members into Pi Theta Epsilon's Alpha Psi chapter here at UNE. I'd like to introduce the current faculty advisor for this chapter, who's going to be facilitating our program this evening. Dr. Carol Lambden-Padavina has been a Pi Theta Epsilon member since 1997 and has dedicated her career to advancing occupational therapy's role in mental health. Whether practicing, teaching, researching, or disseminating, Dr. Lambden-Padavina has aspired to embody the core values of Pi Theta Epsilon Honor Society. Please help me to welcome Dr. Lambden-Padavina.
Thank you, Dr. Winston. I appreciate that. All right. So it really is truly, and forgive me, it's a little too far for my readers. But I don't want to hold it up in front of my face, so bear with me. All right, so thank you. It really is an honor and a privilege to serve as a faculty advisor for PTE. Induction into this honor society is a calling to be and do better every day of your career. This is a very dedicated, innovative, and compassionate group of inductees, and I have no doubt that is indeed what they will strive to do. At this time, I am pleased to introduce Nancy McCrae, the founder of our Pi Theta Epsilon chapter and professor emeritus here at UNE. Nancy contributed greatly to this department, to the university, and the profession at large, and we continue to be ever grateful for her contributions to occupational therapy. In honor of her dedication and commitment to this organization, the Nancy McCrae Meaningful Occupations Auction was created to celebrate the message of occupational therapy and the centrality of occupations to health and well-being. Proceeds from this auction support the St. Catherine's Challenge and raises money to fund occupational therapy research. Please help me welcome Nancy McCrae.
Thank you, Carol. I'm very happy to be here again. I never thought about how long Pi Theta Epsilon would last here, but it's lasting a long time, 31 years, very exciting. And I'm delighted to see two men as part of the inductees this time. OT is still a primarily female profession, and it's always good to have some male energy. I always enjoyed the classes that had some male energy. And of course, I'm a single parent of two boys, so I know about male energy. Okay. Let me get myself oriented here. All right. I always do the historical perspective, and I apologize to faculty who have already heard me do this, or people from last year's inductees. But, you know, meaningful repetition is good, so hopefully it will mean even a little bit more hearing it the second time students before. And this is for you, and some words of wisdom and some historical perspective. There we go. All right, I'm going to hold it here. Symbols are very important, and this is the PTE symbol, and I'm going to talk about some of the things that are involved in it because I think they're very important. Let's look at them. The first is Asclepius, and he is, well, you really can't see him there, but this is not a caduceus. It's very different than that, and he is the god of medicine and healing, so it's important that he is honored here. If you look at the staff with the serpents twining around it, that is regarded as sacred, and it's possessing the power of life renewal and healing. So you see the theme here. And the one that I really enjoy, and I think as prospective occupational therapists you will, are the pair of hands. And hands are very meaningful for us. Double hands depict the act of helping, which all of us are going to do. This is a helping profession. Multiple meanings are ascribed to hands by those in our society. as they are in other diverse ones. Hands are symbolic of productivity, and OTs know how to be productive, believe me. They depict strength and tenderness, they reflect age, they display effort, and they can exhibit the symptoms of disease, but also they can help shape creativity. And occupational therapy is a very creative profession. Our society views handshake as a symbol of agreement, so I think that is nice, particularly in this political era. Applauding hands indicate pleasure or approval of a performance. Hands communicate via gestures when words cannot suffice. Hands greet, steady, support, help accentuate a speaker's point, give pleasure, and display intimacy and love. All of these apply, and many more. And we've talked now about the first three, and we used to have gold hoods, and now you get gold blue cords. And parents and family members, you'll see these when they have commencement, that they will wear these in acknowledgement of their honor society. And yellow roses, which I happen to like better than red ones, are going to be handed out to each of the inductees today. All right, national and UNE history. In 1958, PTE was established at the University of New Hampshire, and I graduated from UNE with a bachelor's in OT, which no longer is given, so you know I'm old, and held an office there in PTE. And in 1987, it joined the Association of College Honor Societies, which put it on a higher level. AOTF, which is the American Occupational Therapy Foundation, which is primarily involved in research, sponsors PTE. So that link is very strong. Bylaws were amended to include the president of PTE to be a voting member of the foundation's board of directors, and that occurred also in 1988. In 1994, I helped found the Alpha Psi Epsilon chapter at UNE, and today, I'm obviously retired. I've been retired for 8 years now. New advisors have included Dr. Kate Lucas, Dr. Jane O'Brien, who have also retired, and now Carol is the faculty advisor. So we've moved along. Now, in terms of graduate accomplishments, I hope to keep adding to this list. Certainly, some of our graduates have had articles in national OT publications. Presentations have been done with faculty at state and national conferences. Faculty members love to have students join them in terms of doing their research and then presenting it, mentoring them and giving them a chance to experience that. One of our student trustees was on the UNE's Board of Trustees. This is when we first started, and I don't think it's happened since. One of our students also was an AOTA Emerging Leader program. I think there's been a couple of participants in that, which really helps them. They get a mentor and they can proceed along the research lines that they want. And including tonight, there's going to be 373 graduates in 31 years, so that's pretty amazing. And what will they accomplish? We'll have to wait and see. But I look forward to hearing about your accomplishments, always mentioning, I hope, in any articles that are written about you, that you're a UNE grad and you're a Pi Theta Epsilon member. Remember to have that included. So those of us who aren't at UNE on a daily basis will get to know. I have some tips, and these tips have remained enduring for me. The first tip is occupation. And occupation is what differentiates us from others. And you cannot forget that. I hope every time you see a client and every time you write up client notes that occupation is in your notes, because that's what differentiates us. It's all important, it's valuable to health and recovery, and it needs to be made clear every day. And you may have to educate other interprofessional members as to what it means, but it drives us as practitioners, because occupations are things that you need to do and that you want to do. So they're purposeful and they're very valuable to the client that you're working with us. So please do not forget that. The second tip is contribute to the profession. You have to in order to keep it healthy and growing. And you can give back in a number of ways. One is leadership, And you can see the levels there, local, state, and national levels. We have a state organization, obviously there's a national association, and there are international associations. Scholarship, write up a case study, be an author of a chapter. That's a good way to start. And a number of us, UNE faculty, retired and current, have written up books, case studies, and chapters, and we love to have students helping us with chapters. And research, I mean, this is a research organization, so perhaps you can do it interprofessionally. We are known at UNE for our interprofessional stance, and, or another institution of higher learning, so it's not a daunting task that you have to do by yourself. You can do it with others. Oops, that didn't move. There we go. All right, and another enduring tip is to embrace change. And this is hard, and I speak as an 80-year-old who's had some difficulty embracing IT change, and those who know me will laugh at that, but I have tried, and I am better, but I'm not great. So you need to embrace change for yourself and for your clients, because there's constantly new research that is changing. Some of the threads that we were taught when we went to school, and you now have to change based on the research. You need to be a lifelong learner, and I can't imagine any of the 12 of you are not committed to lifelong learning. Keep up with the relevant research and technology, better than I did with the technology, and it helps you be resilient, and resiliency is so important as our healthcare system changes. And as an aside, I certainly hope you 12 are going to make our healthcare system better than it is now. And I see some parents maybe shaking their heads. And if you do that, you'll flourish. And a flourishing occupational therapist is a good thing. The fourth tip is remain authentic. You have to be who you are as you relate with others. A client can tell in the first minute whether or not you're being truthful with them and whether or not you care about them. And if not, you're not going to get much information out of them. But if you're authentic, if you relate to others that way, you're going to be able to really establish a reciprocal kind of relationship that's going to help that client get better. It does promote meaningful relationships to be authentic. And you show care for the client and becoming involved in their process of becoming. And I also think it's a way you can sponsor hope, because so many of our clients need hope. And if you're authentic and share some of yourself, not everything, you know what the boundaries need to be, but that really helps establish a really good relationship. All right, and this is my last one. And this is care for self, and I really am really big on this, as much as you would for your clients. If you want your clients to take care of themselves, you have to take care of yourself. And the word that I used to use was, if you don't want to get crispy, and that's when you get burned out, you have to take care of yourself. I don't want any of you 12 becoming crispy, because a crispy OT is not a good thing. And this is an article that is fairly old now, but I really like it. OTs are doers. We need to do. We need to be active. We need to be engaged. We need to be purposeful. And we're really good at that. And you become by continuing to improve and learn. And as lifelong learners, you will be becoming all the time. And you have times when you need to just be. And my criticism of many of my friends and former students, and perhaps you, I don't know you, but perhaps you, is that you really need to take time to just be. Just sit there. Maybe meditate. Maybe do yoga. Maybe take a walk out in nature, just to be. Stop thinking about what you need to do and stop thinking about what you need to learn. But just being. It's restorative and it does facilitate reflection. And a good occupational therapy always is reflecting on her own growth as well as what happened in her sessions with clients. You need to achieve and maintain a dynamic balance between this trilogy, and I'm a strong believer of that. And I have to tell you, since I've retired, I'm much more into the being part, and I can do it because I have the time. And being is difficult, but it's necessary to discover yourself, think, and reflect. And those are my remarks, and I hope you will remember them. And please, remember occupation and use it all the time. And if your family doesn't understand what occupation is, start telling them, okay? Congratulations. I'm very honored to be here, and I look forward to hearing about you and from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Inspirational as always. So at this time, I'd like to introduce our featured speaker for this evening. Dr. Elizabeth Crampsey is the Associate Dean of Academic Affairs for the Westbrook College of Health Professions here at UNE, and an Associate Clinical Professor in the Department of Occupational Therapy. She is an innovative, interprofessional, and collaborative leader interested in high-functioning teams. And she also happens to be a member of PTE. The majority of her occupational therapy practice was in pediatric intervention and assessment within the school, clinics, and hospital settings. And tonight, she has been asked to share about how the induction into PTE impacted her OT trajectory and supported her in becoming a lifelong learner dedicated to scholarly engagement. Please help me welcome Dr. Elizabeth Crampsey.
Hi, everyone. It's really an honor to stand before all of you today as we celebrate your induction into Pi Theta Epsilon, a society that's influenced my own journey as an occupational therapist. I remember my invitation to join and my induction, I'd like to say like yesterday, but it was a little bit longer than that, then I wouldn't like to share exactly how many years ago it was. Like some of you, my family was able to travel to my induction ceremony, and others were not. And sadly, my induction was before the days of live stream, so I'd like to thank those that are able to attend in person, but also those of you at home supporting from afar. So today we're here to gather to celebrate this momentous occasion, the induction into this prestigious honor society. This ceremony marks not only an accomplishment of your academic excellence, but also a commitment to the values and ideals that Pi Theta Epsilon represents: integrity, leadership, and a passion for the field of occupational therapy. As you've already heard from Professor Emeritus Nancy McCrae, thank you, Nancy, for sharing so much about PTE. To our inductees, I want to say a hearty congratulations. Your hard work and dedication and resilience has brought you to tonight. As you step into this new chapter, remember that you're joining a legacy of individuals who have made significant contributions to our professions and the communities that we serve. As members of PTE, you will now be part of a network that extends very far beyond the walls of this institution, and it's important to embrace the opportunity to learn from one another, support one another, and grow together as leaders in the field. The bond that you form here as part of PTE won't only enrich your personal, but your professional lives, and will empower you to make a very lasting impact on the world around you through the work you do as occupational therapy practitioners, which, as we know, is a true calling. As we reflect on the mission of PTE, let us remember the importance of service and advocacy in occupational therapy. Our work is never about treating individuals, but rather uplifting communities, fostering occupational engagement, and promoting health and well-being. Each of you has the potential to be a beacon of hope and a source of inspiration to the individuals, groups, communities, and populations that you will serve. Let's also take a moment to thank your faculty and your mentors here in this room and alumni who've guided and supported your journey, and your loved ones here and afar who have supported you along the way. As we know, OT school is a team sport, right? It's a team sport. We need all of you to support us all on the journey. And as we proceed with the ceremony this evening, I encourage all of you to embrace this honor with humility and enthusiasm. The journey ahead might be filled with challenges, but also countless opportunities for growth and impact. I was asked tonight to reflect on my own experience with PTE. I'm reminded of how this organization has played a part in my own academic path, but also my commitment to lifelong learning and scholarly engagement. So first, when I was inducted to PTE in an undisclosed year, as I mentioned, don't forget that, undisclosed, I felt a mixture of both pride and responsibility. At that time, the only other honor society I knew about was National Honor Society from my high school days. I didn't really understand the network of national honor societies, especially ones that related to occupational therapy. So being recognized for my academic achievements was both validating, but also a little overwhelming. I quickly learned that PTE membership, much like the field of occupational therapy, is about much more than individual accolades. It was an invitation to join a community of scholars who were dedicated to the advancement of the field of occupational therapy. During that ceremony, I realized I was not only stepping into a new role as a member, but embracing a commitment to excellence. And this commitment reminded me that our field requires us to be continually informed and engaged with the latest evidence-based research and best practices, which I know you've probably heard of once or twice in your courses. The ideals of PTE, integrity, service, and excellence, instill this culture of lifelong learning. You all know that your education in OT will not end with graduation. Rather, you will continue to seek out your opportunities for professional growth and development, whether through workshops, conferences, or collaborative projects. UNE, the MSOT program, and PTE will help lay some of that foundation, but you'll then carry the responsibility to keep striving to do your very best for the clients that you serve. PTE can be one of the very many ways that you connect with current trends and innovations in occupational therapy. You all have deep passions for your future OT practice, and I know we'll hear about some of those later. And PTE can help keep that fire burning for you. It can help you to connect with the tools that you wish to really apply to your future practice. And for me, PTE provided a very unexpected power of scholarly engagement. I will say one of the most significant impacts of PTE membership has been in my involvement in scholarship activities. And I know you're thinking, as you sit here, 1 of 12, 12 of 12, really, could that really be true? But it is true. And your track record of being inquisitive, wanting to know more, and excelling within your academics will continue to foster your willingness and interest in participating in research projects, collaborating with others, and taking a leap of faith to write an article, a chapter in a textbook, or perhaps present at a conference. These opportunities, I will confess, I did not always see coming or were a part of my own professional path. However, like you, I had great mentors, faculty advisors, like-minded and diverse-minded peers and clients that I was able to learn from. And I hope for that for you as well. This willingness to keep my mind and heart open to try and value each opportunity of learning has been very helpful in opening doors in my own OT career, and I hope it will do the same for you too. Your participation in the profession of occupational therapy and PTE require you to embrace these transformative moments and to be sure not to miss them when they come. They'll expand your horizons in ways that you can't even dream of just yet, but someday you will. It will help you to continue to hone your thirst for knowledge, your critical problem-solving mindset, and your deep care for and about other people. Your day-to-day work as an OT will help you to continue to contribute to the field. Research and scholarship can influence clinical practice and improve patient and client outcomes, and improve our much-needed healthcare system. My hope for you is that your membership in PTE gives you the confidence to share your insights and advocate for the integration of research into everyday practices. PTE will provide you a strong network of support, and having access to a community of individuals who share both my and your dedication to occupational therapy really has been invaluable. Your peers, your PTE fellow inductees, are going to continue to challenge each other as you celebrate successes and provide support to one another during difficult times. This is probably a familiar feeling. You've probably already encountered a difficult challenge during your studies already and have learned to rely on one another on this path. You can encourage each other and others to continue to build this sense of camaraderie as a cornerstone of what it means to be a member of PTE. You can learn to rely on yourself, one another, and the community as you build it. And now as we look ahead, as I stand here today, I'm really excited for you, the new inductees, who will soon join the ranks of PTE. You're stepping into a legacy of excellence, and I encourage you to embrace the opportunities that PTE will offer to you. I urge you to engage with your peers, seek out mentorship, and pursue your passions with vigor, a reckless abandon. Keep after it. The journey of lifelong learning is not always easy, but it's immensely rewarding. Remember that the knowledge and skills you acquire will only enhance your own practice, but they'll contribute to the growth of the profession as a whole. In conclusion, my induction to PTE was a stepping stone in my own transformative experience that shaped my trajectory as an occupational therapist, and I sincerely hope it does the same for you. I hope it continues to instill a passion of lifelong learning and a commitment to scholarly engagement, as well as a deep appreciation for your community. My advice, should you choose to heed it, is to stay curious, seek knowledge, ground yourself in humility, say yes to opportunities, and keep building your very strong community. Most importantly, stay true to occupation is central to the work you have chosen to be called to do. Congratulations once again to the new members. I wish for you on your journey to be filled with discovery, growth, and inspiration. And alongside your dedicated OT faculty and professional staff, I share their deep pride in this accomplishment and wish you a very bright future ahead. Congratulations.
Amazing, amazing messages tonight. Community, curiosity. What more can we ask for, right? We're not back in class, I promise. I promise. All right, so we're going to move on here. If I can find where I am. See, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to do it. I've got to do it. Okay, that's so much better. Oh my gosh. All right, so we're going to begin the process of the induction. So by appearing before us, you have signified your desire to become a member of Pi Theta Epsilon. Each of you should understand fully the meaning of its name, its purposes, and its ideal. Pi is the first letter in the Greek word for advancement. Theta is the first letter in the Greek word for therapeutic. Epsilon is the first letter of the Greek word for occupation. Therefore, Pi Theta Epsilon stands for Advancement in Occupational Therapy. The purpose of the Honor Society is to recognize and encourage scholastic excellence in occupational therapy students, to contribute to the advancement of the field of occupational therapy through scholarly activities, and, finally, to provide a vehicle for professional entry-level students enrolled in accredited programs in occupational therapy to exchange information and to collaborate regarding scholarly activities. Pi Theta Epsilon strives to instill in its members the ideal of respect for learning and commitment to scholarship throughout one's professional life. By inviting you to join this honor society, we have conferred upon you an honor and an obligation. The honor is the recognition of your integrity, your high standards of scholarship, and the promise of your future as one of achievement. The obligation is to devote your efforts to the advancement of occupational therapy through scholarship and research, and to the maintenance of the high standards of Pi Theta Epsilon. At this time, I would like to invite Pi Theta Epsilon members from the class of 2025 to join me for the induction ceremony. With us this evening, we have Katie Herzig, former PTE president, Corinne Bowers, former treasurer, and Carol Wilson, Sarah McAndrews, and Molly Driscoll, all PTE members. Thank you for joining us tonight. Katie Herzig will be reading excerpts submitted by each inductee in response to the question, how will you embody the mission and vision of Pi Theta Epsilon as you move forward in your career as an occupational therapy practitioner? Katie? And it's double-sided there.
Thank you. You're welcome. All right. Our first inductee is Evan Brohan. Evan says, I am very grateful for the opportunity to join the Pi Theta Epsilon Honor Society. I would like to thank my professors who observed and acknowledged my hard work throughout the past 2 semesters. I truly appreciate the incredible potential this membership presents for both personal and professional growth. Through PTE's extensive resources, I hope to contribute meaningfully to the organization while developing valuable skills that will serve me throughout my career as an occupational therapist. Here you go. Next is Macy Brown. Macy says, as a future occupational therapist, I aspire to empower individuals and facilitate meaningful change in their lives. I'm eager to understand their aspirations and collaborate on strategies to achieve them. I believe in being a lifelong learner and will continue to do my own research to find evidence-based practice that will aid me in providing the best care for my future clients. With this ever-changing career, I want to follow those that are advancing research in the field, as well as become a leader in changing the field for the better. Next, we have Peyton Clark. Peyton says, I am honored to join Pi Theta Epsilon as a student guiding the field of future occupational therapy while upholding the strong ideations of research, leadership, and scholarly activities. To actively infuse scholarship into my future career, I will stay up to date with current occupational therapy field advances and be open to asking questions and learning from others. Additionally, I plan to always show humility. To me, this means that I will capitalize on my strengths while still being aware of my limitations, be comfortable with asking for help, and be open to adaptation and/or constructive feedback. Lastly, I will always treat others with respect and kindness, the easiest but arguably the most important responsibility I hold for myself. This will help foster a comfortable and safe environment for all of those I work with. Next, we have Abigail Fournier. Through therapeutic relationships and evidence-based practices, occupational therapists have a unique opportunity to meet individuals where they are at and be catalysts for recovery and hope. As I prepare to become an OT, I am being equipped with knowledge and skills that allow me to best serve my future patients. Throughout my future career, I hope to never cease learning with curiosity and humility as I stay current with evidence to inform my practice and learn new innovative therapeutic techniques. PTE is committed to serving students with that goal through promoting research, leadership, and scholarly activities. I'm excited to join PTE and become a part of a community dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge and its application to clinical practice. Sarah Grenier. Sarah says, I hope to infuse scholarship into my future career by maintaining a network with other professionals to collaborate with and learn from. As a member, I plan to extend my engagement in community-based activities into my career by being an advocate for the populations I serve. Additionally, membership to this society will help me stay current with the latest developments within the field, allowing me to incorporate new findings into my practice to improve treatment outcomes. And Brianna Michaud-Nolan. I am honored to have been endorsed by my faculty based on scholarly achievement and professionalism to join the Alpha Psi UNE chapter of PTE. The core values of PTE, promoting research, scholarship, and giving back to the community, resonate with me as a student and eventual practitioner. In my career, I plan to infuse scholarship by staying informed about the latest healthcare research, as well as contributing my own if applicable. By remaining aligned with PTE's standards of scholarship, I will ensure my clinical practice remains evidence-based and innovative. Allison Morin. This opportunity acknowledges my dedication to the profession and energizes me to strive for excellence and demonstrate professionalism. I look forward to contributing to the PTE's goal of ensuring quality healthcare services for the public and practicing authentic occupational therapy. To practice authentic occupational therapy, I am willing to take risks and challenge ideas both intra and interprofessionally. I will work diligently to demonstrate the distinct value of OT by treating patients with evidence-based practices and a holistic approach to address the meaningful occupations in their lives. Gabriela Puentes. As a current student in the UNE Master of Occupational Therapy program, I would like to focus my ideas of scholarship on student opportunities and education through scholarly activities. My goal as a future member of PTE would be to focus on the development of mentorship programs that encourage curiosity in occupational specialties and help students navigate their interests in the field. Such an activity could look like speed dating with an OT from different specialties that allows students the opportunity to ask questions and seek guidance in their future unique career routes. Next is Jack Rogers. The moment I read what PTE translates to, the advancement of occupational therapy, I knew this was something I could dive into and pursue. Advocating for others' autonomy and striving for beneficial healthcare is something I feel extremely passionate about and hope to promote amongst the other aspects of PTE equally. Potentially being a part of an event that can help promote client awareness and education towards the general population is one way I plan to infuse scholarship into my future career, as well as being a part of future research. Alexis Tardy. I am so grateful for the opportunity to join PTE and look forward to becoming a part of the University of New England chapter. Being a member of this chapter will allow me the opportunity to uphold the mission of PTE in promoting authentic practice, taking initiative through leadership, and scholarship within my time as a student and future OTP. Being a member will align with my love for learning, drive to continue education, ability to provide evidence-informed, client-centered care with a focus on empathy and collaboration. Mackenzie Truman. As a future OTP, joining PTE is an opportunity to grow in my professional development, leadership, knowledge of occupational science, and occupational therapy as a whole. Becoming a part of the healthcare field, there is always going to be change, whether it be from new interventions, medications, or assistive tech devices. Being in PTE will allow me to enhance my educational journey through my dedication, passion, and love for learning. And last, we have Julia White. The occupational therapy field is continuously growing and changing, and I will do the same. To do this, I want to find more ways in which the occupational therapy community can advocate for those with disabilities and to make occupational therapy accessible to all. There are places within the world that could benefit from having occupational therapy professionals, and I want to be able to make that change. Thank you so much for this opportunity to join the PTE Honor Society. I look forward to the collaboration and growth made with this honor.
Well, if they live up to those words, then we're all going to be in really good shape, for sure. Okay, so at this time, Carol's going to be handing out some candles. All right, so I'm going to invite all of the inductees to please rise with the candle, your rose, and your program in hand. And all current Pi Theta Epsilon members are also invited to rise and reconfirm your commitment to the ideals of this honor society through reciting our pledge in unison. Yes, please do. Anybody in the audience, PTE members for sure. So in unison, oh, hold on, I'll help you here. There we go. Aware of the high calling of the scholar and the great opportunity of service through occupational therapy, I, Carol Lambden Padavina, hereby pledge my efforts to further the purposes and to uphold the ideal of Pi Theta Epsilon and to prove myself a worthy member of this honor society. You may be seated. Yes, let's have another round of applause for our newest, no longer inductees, now members, right? So in closing, I would remind the newly inducted members of PTE that while you have several courses under your belt and fieldwork seems within your grasp, the real education is just beginning. You have repeated the words of the PTE pledge, but these are more than mere words. They are a calling to become lifelong learners, to remain curious, full of wonder, and unafraid to explore and to question, even when, and especially when, questioning is hard. A calling to always act with integrity and compassion, and a calling to provide the highest quality occupational therapy services to all people. I want to thank everyone for joining us this evening to celebrate our new members of Pi Theta Epsilon, particularly family and friends, both here and virtually. Your ongoing support does not go unnoticed. I want to also take a moment to thank, where is she? Stand up, please, Miss Melissa Walsh, Mrs. Melissa Walsh. She's our administrative coordinator who yearly is instrumental in making this event become a reality. So we have a cake here to celebrate, and we also have a step and repeat, so we're going to move this podium out of the way. If family, inductees, members would like to take pictures, please come on up and do so. Once again, a huge congratulations to our newest members, and I look forward to seeing all of the wonderful things, both big and small, but all equally important, that you accomplish in your OT journey. Thank you all, and enjoy the remainder of your evening.